Okay, so random clones. Let's see how we can do this in Cinema. Of course, pretty easy. We have a group of objects, create a cloner, put the objects inside, and we have our clones exactly like we want. In this case, this is set to iterate. Let's set this to random, and we have what we are looking for. Of course, in Houdini, it's a bit more involved, but let's see how we can do this. I already have here, I'm going to share this file on my Patreon, Patreon only, and we have 3 ways we can do this. I'm going to show the easiest way here, which is using the attribute from pieces node. Okay, let's just actually bring this objects into a new container or a new node. Right, so let me turn off this guy. Oops. Okay, so now we have all our objects here, and the first thing we have to do is to merge them. So select them all, and then with Alt, just drag these points, and it can it just creates a merge for you. So now what we have to do here is to create an attribute per object, so then we can randomize that attribute into the points, right? So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, we can we want to create a copy to points, right? So copy to points, and now we want our points, so let's get them from a grid. Just plug the grid here, and here we have our copies. But a few things are not right. So first of all, they are actually in the wrong direction. See here, the tube is pointing up, or it's like vertical, and here it's actually rotated. So to fix that, we just, the copy to point, is just turn off this transform using target point orientations, and now we have what we want. Now this is of course merged, so it's copying this merged object into each point. We don't want that. So let's create that attribute per object. So because these objects are all merged, we need to find a way to select the islands. So each object became an island, a polygon island, right? So there's an attribute that the node that does that. It's called connectivity. So this connectivity node just creates an attribute called class per island of a polygon object. And so we can see here in the geometry spreadsheet that there's a class 0 here, and then if we keep going down, we will find a class 1 and 2 and 3, right? That's because we have the 4 objects, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So this class is applied to the points of the object, right? So if I show them here, if I just go to this I and press class, you can see here that the points of the cylinder all have the value 1. The points of the cube all have the value 3, and so on. And that's how it recognizes individual islands. So now we need to pass this value into this points here, right? So we want that each point of the grid has basically the same value, or of each individual object, right? So we want some points of the grid that we want them to have value 1, some points we want to have value 2, and so on, and then make a connection between those values and the actual objects that we have here. So the easiest way to do that is using a node called attribute from pieces. Okay, so the attribute from pieces requires a point cloud, which is this, like a group of points, and it also requires the geometry library, so which is this, right? It's our library here. So just let's put it here, and if we just nothing major is happening now, right? So we can't see anything. We can see that we have an attribute name per point, but it's 0. We don't want to use that attribute name. We want our attribute class that we created, right? So basically we are doing like a transfer attribute here. So we are grabbing these values that we created here and passing them to the points. And as you can see now, we have those values that come from the class in each point. So next thing to do is to connect this to copy the points, but we still don't have what we want, right? Let me just turn this off here. So we still have the same thing, and the reason is because we actually need to tell the copied 2 points how to actually make that relationship between those the points on the grid and the class number, and it has a an attribute here for that. So just turn it on and create and write class, and that's it. Basically we have our clones, and this is exactly the same behavior we have in Cinema when we have the default iterate. What we want to do is go to the attribute from pieces, and instead of cycle, just select random. I can shuffle the pieces, and then we have our seed here and the offset of that random, and that's it. Basically this is the easiest way you can, or at least, you know, the easiest way I found where you can do this. There are a few other ways you can do it. You can actually use an attribute transfer and then a randomize, which is basically what the attribute from pieces is doing. And then you have one with a for each, which is a bit more complex, and to be honest, a few things I don't understand 100%, but here you have it if you need. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and see you in the next one.